is very helpful, though it's getting late in some time zones. You could wait until the morning and drink a liter or two with some electrolytes perhaps, or a little bit of salt.
So magnesium and essential fatty acids like fish oil or flaxseed oil are also very helpful when spending time in a high consciousness environment, like we did tonight. So these are building blocks or support for the nervous system to evolve and strengthen, along with essential amino acids, which we also recommend. So if you're a subscriber or on the FLFE free trial, you could take a look at our consciousness nutrition page, which is in the FLFE customer portal, and it has specific recommendations of these nutrients. And we found through our history that people on the FLFE service have bumped up substantially in consciousness when they nutrify their nervous systems in the ways we recommend. And interestingly, and probably not coincidentally, we found that the Olympic weightlifting coach Charles Poliquin had very similar recommendations to build the nervous system capacity of Olympic athletes. So we have an exciting announcement about the upcoming live Cryon event in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, November 23rd. FLFE is partnering with the Cryon team to bring the actual energetic experience of being in the recent Cryon Crystal Adventure in Hot Springs, Arkansas, live to the Edmonton audience. So we're excited to pick the most beneficial, uplifting, and healing energetic moments that happened during the Arkansas live event with you, Lee and Monica, and then bringing that energetic environment into the Edmonton event for the Cryon community. Much like we have the ability to relive and re-experience a moment in our lives, like we did today in the meditation, the FLFE technology has the capability to visit a specific place and time and access that energetic environment there, and then bring it forward as a complete experience or energetic environment to another place and time. This is physics, not woo-woo, and it is real. So we'll see you in Edmonton, and the FLFE team will be there as well, so we'll get to see you in person. So if you haven't tried the FLFE environment service or you haven't experienced it lately, the no credit card free trial is your ticket to living in a supportive, high consciousness, loving environment in your home, business, or around your phone or special object, like a pendant. And in the FLFE research page, you'll find several studies on the relief that people feel in the FLFE environment from the symptoms of EMF exposure, especially for very sensitive people, such as anxiety, insomnia, headaches, or even depression. So our gift to you in gratitude for this experience together tonight is a simultaneous phone and home FLFE free trial. We don't offer this to anyone else at this point, and the experience and healing is much deeper with a 24/7 immersion in the high consciousness fields, these environments, which you can take with you even when you're doing errands or traveling.
You can access this gift by going to the link below. It just takes a few minutes to sign up, and the FLFE environment activates at your home and around your cell phone immediately. There is nothing to be shipped. The quantum association occurs instantly. It's great to be with you, Lee and Monica, and with you, the Cryon community. We appreciate all that you do. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Jeff and Clayton.
Thank you both.
I really enjoyed the meditation, Lee. Did you enjoy that too?
Absolutely. Wonderful graphics too. Thank you for all that.
Beautiful imagery. And it's time for a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little more about the experiment that they're going to do in Hot Springs and then share it in Edmonton. And then we'll also be here for the Circle of 12. Well, welcome back, everyone. And again, thank you to Jeff and Clayton. As we mentioned, the technologies of FLFE will be bringing the energetic experience of last week's Cryon Crystal Adventure in Hot Springs, Arkansas, to the upcoming event that's going to take place in Edmonton, Canada on November 23.
So they're actually taking the energy that had been developed from a past event and like snapshotting it and then placing it on something to come up.
Exactly.
And that is very high science, and there's a lot of proof that it's worked, and this is part of what they're doing.
I think it's so exciting because if you missed being with us in Hot Springs, I know many of you were saying that you would have loved to have come to that event, especially because it's on one of the major Pleiadian nodes of the planet. Well, guess what? You have the opportunity to have that energetic experience delivered to you in Canada. I mean, super cool. So excited.
So come to Canada.
And we're so excited to be back with our Canadian family. Okay, so this format you've experienced tonight, it's going to happen a lot more often. In fact, spoiler alert.
Okay.
This entire month is filled with experiences for you.
Healing Wednesday is starting to morph. It's morphing into something far more sacred, intense. It's becoming a wall-to-wall experience for light workers. All this profound change in our program comes from the guidance from Kryon right now, who says it's time for this new kind of experience to enable all of us to reach a vibration that is higher in consciousness. Sound familiar? So for now, let's continue this energy into what we call miracle moments. Miracle moments is one of our favorite sections of this program. We love to share people's healing and their success. It really warms our hearts all of them that we read. And we love to involve our wonderful group of viewers in helping others to heal as well. So you can find the Miracle Moments section in your membership portal. That's also where you can request prayers of help both for yourself and for others you love.
So this week's miracle moment comes from Gentle Hawk. So this is where I want to say, hello, dear one. We have actually met several times. He's often on the chat and he's such a beautiful soul. Gentle Hawk says, I had a healing of leg pain after a trip to Mount Shasta. I have had leg pains for the last 3+ years, and during that time I've had a few leg stents with little improvement. 4 weeks ago, I went to Mount Shasta for a reunion of spiritual folk. We went to many places. We went up to Panther Meadows, and I walked it with my stick, painfully, but I did it. We also went to Siskiyou Lake, and I walked down and back painfully, but enjoyed it. Anyway, I drove home 5+ hours and pried myself out of the car. But the next day, on my usual 20-minute walk, I had no pain. Shasta's magic and the healing Circle of 12 did it. I'm now walking daily 30 minutes with no pain and almost a normal full stride, and I know it will improve more. Isn't that just the most awesome miracle moment? And the fact that Gentle Hawk knows it's going to keep improving, and I know it too, and sending so much love and benevolence as you continue improving all the miracles in your life. So now what I'd like to do is invite us to create a field of coherence with each other, because there's a lot of people who submit prayers of help. They request energy from us. If you go into your portal and take a look at all the requests, there's always hundreds and hundreds of these requests coming in to us. So let's collectively send energy to all those requiring our help. So I invite you to close your eyes and just connect now with the energy of the earth our beautiful Earth, Mother Gaia, there are places on the planet that has profound healing energy. We just heard about an experience of someone who went to Mount Shasta, one of the major Pleiadian nodes on the planet, that contributed to their healing. And the beauty of multidimensional energy is that we don't have to be on that one place to connect with the energy of it. So what I ask in this moment is for our intention. Let's give the intention to connect with the multidimensional energies that's within the planet, within the nodes and the nulls. We're asking in this moment to connect as a group with those energies. And just give the intent, give the allowance. Don't try and figure it out with your brain. Know that if you intend to do this at a soul level, it is happening. And now as we keep building this field of coherence and this connection we are all experiencing with the nodes and the nulls of the planet, let us give a focused intent that the energy of this experience be delivered to those who are requesting our help, both past, present, and future. At a soul level, there is no time. It's all in the now, which is why I say past, present, and future. All names on that list are known. And in this particular example, we are harnessing the energy of the nodes and the nulls of the planet and Gaia, sending it to everyone on that list.
For a very good reason. It's smarter than you are. And sometimes, dear ones, it will even go around who you think you are. And what I mean by that is that when you get into a certain position, especially in these visualizations, that even that which you doubt, the innate will say, I'm smarter than that. How about we have a healing today instead of doubting today? This is the smart body, dear ones. This is what you're going to be using in every single healing circle. Conscious homeopathy plus a connection with the soul that you've never had before brings you to a place that is new. It's new. Connection at the soul level is something we have never, ever given you before in this way. This healing is not new. It is what spontaneous remission is also. You are looking at the processes of miracles you've seen before and never understood that they actually were processes built into the body that were so profound that they could have instant healings at any time. This is the energy we are working with, even today, later, and will work with every single week. Think of the profundity of this, something that you always had, that somehow comes awake, realized, and seen. Well, Cryon, if that's the case, then why don't you just do it once? I wish this were the way it works, but it does not, because through free choice, dear ones, you have learned so much against the way it works. There are those who've told you you're nothing and never will be. There are those who told you you have a creative source who loves you so much that it's going to punish you forever and your soul will be damned. How does that then work with the magnificence of your soul and your humanness and made as an image and all of these things you've been told? You have so much to unlearn if you want to stand in the presence of the real energy of the creative source who loves you so much. This is the teaching and the truth. Prayer, awesome as it is, works so much better when you start connecting with the source instead of on your knees pleading to it. Connecting to the source is that next step of spirituality that all of you have sought, no matter what your doctrine is. And all the masters that you've worshipped are right there in your soul. And you'll see them and you'll feel them and they can love you. Actually, it seems their hands will be out to take yours. This is where we're going. This is new. It's not a doctrine. It's not a religion. It's not a belief system, dear ones. It's just you with you. You either feel it or you don't. And as you'll know, as we go through these circle of 12, there will be so much to work on and unlearn and discover the true majesty of the Spirit of God inside yourself. There'll be more. And so it is.
And take a breath deeply into your heart center, exhaling slowly and softly. And allow your awareness to come back into the room, back into your body, because we would now like to present our wonderful speaker for the show, and that is Dr. Eric Pearl. And I want to tell you, if you have not heard about Eric Pearl, he ran a highly successful chiropractic practice for 12 years until one day his patients actually began reporting healings as Eric simply held his hands near them. Can you imagine? So, Eric, are you there? Are you here with us?
I am most definitely here, Monica.
Oh,
Thank you
great
both
to
for
see
inviting
you.
me onto your program.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Lee. I see you now, too.
Great. So, Lee, you want to tell our audience a little more about Eric?
I want to say with his life's partner, Jillian, they teach what science today calls reconnective healing, and I want you to remember that term. It's affecting the lives of millions globally, and it is. It really is. He has an ongoing worldwide work, and it's been now for decades. They recently created something called the Portal, which is Reconnective Healing Online, Level 1. It's a course, so you may begin to learn reconnective healing while at home, and I know Eric's going to talk a little more about that.
Now, Eric, just like Lee, has appeared at the United Nations. He's also appeared on Dr. Oz, CNN, and was featured in the New York Times. His international bestseller from Hay House is called The Reconnection: Heal Others, Heal Yourself. And that's translated into 40 languages. I mean, that's double what we have.
That's right.
40 languages. Now, stay tuned, because guess what, Lee?
What?
They have a new book that is coming out next year.
Awesome. About time.
About time.
About time. Okay.
We had an interim book.
We do. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's right. That's true.
Co-authored with Fred Ponslav, and it's called Solomon Speaks on Reconnecting Your Life. And
Solomon
that's
Speaks.
That's some interesting channel material, something you're
Awesome.
clearly an authority on, that came through when I started holding my hands near my patients and they started losing consciousness.
Well, I want to tell people, because you're a personal friend, Eric, and unlike so many of the people that viewers are going to see later on in this series, you are number one, and I selected this in our series for you to be first. I want to just tell folks, and I want to make this short. My phone rang one day a couple decades ago, and I was at home, and I got this man on the phone, and he introduced himself, didn't really get his name, and he said, look, Los Angeles, people are starting a channel on my chiropractic couch. I had this practice. I found your book, and I know you're a channeler. Can you help me explain it? The first thing I went is, how did this guy get my number? I'm at home. Nobody can do that. And the second thing is I said, if he can get my number, I'm paying attention. I did. I met him in Los Angeles, and that was the beginning. I'll tell you, this is honest, and I'm going to turn it to Eric, is this man, it's the closest in this work, and I've been around the world with him, it's the closest I've ever seen in any work in conferences to pick up your bed and walk. I've never encountered this kind of profound healing, this reconnection. I presented many times with him, and Europeans, and they love him. So do we. Eric, take it away. Hi.
Hey, well, I do remember that phone call. I was a bit, more than a bit, in shock and not quite knowing where to go with it, because you see what had happened to me was I had practiced chiropractic for 12 years, and then all of a sudden one night a few strange things happened. A lamp next to my bed turned itself on and woke me up. I opened my eyes to find that my bedroom door, which I had closed when I went to sleep, was now open. I thought maybe someone was in my house, so I got up and immediately located the largest knife I could get my hands on. I had an
Yes, right.
empty can of pepper spray that I figured would make me look intimidating. And I grabbed my Doberman Pinscher, who I thought would intimidate anyone in the house. Instead, she hid behind me. Hunting, couldn't find anyone. And after 20 minutes, I decided I might as well go back to sleep. It must be my imagination. So I got back into bed. I reached over to turn the lamp off, that little round knob or button that's on pretty much every lamp in America. And it was not clicked into place. It was rotated part way, and I knew that wasn't me because I'm a clicker and a locker and a shutter and everything's like sealed. So I thought, well, if they let me wake up in the morning, they do, but I'm closing my eyes and going to bed. All I know is, on Monday, I went into my office, and my employees started asking me what happened over the weekend. I said, nothing. Why? They said, you look so different, you sound so different. And I just, didn't give it that much attention. I went in to see my first patient. And I adjusted my chiropractic patient, finished with them lying on the back, told them to rest their eyes for a minute or two. When he opened his eyes, he asked me who had come into the room. Well, his eyes were closed. I said, no one. Why? He said, I heard someone. No one was there, I told him. He said, I felt him. I said, no one was there. He said, they were standing at the door. I said, really? No, they weren't. So it said, okay, but when someone's just placating you, they don't really believe you. I thought, well, something interesting must be going on with that person's morning. I ignored it. I went into the next patient. When she opened her eyes, she said, who came into the room while I was lying here? I said, no one. Why? She said, the person at the door. No one was at the door. She said, I heard them. No. All I can tell you is, on this one day, in my 12th year in practice as a chiropractor, although no one had said this to me before, 7 different patients insisted. Someone came into the room, walked around them on the table, ran around them on the table, and 2 of them actually told me it felt as if someone was flying around the ceiling. Wow. So it would sort of be difficult for me to ignore that, but simultaneously my attention was still pulled because other patients were telling me they could feel my hands on them when I wasn't touching them. I'm saying, oh yeah, sure, you can close your eyes. So they close their eyes, and I just stand there at a distance, and I hold my hands or angle them or move them, or all sorts of things, and they could tell me right shoulder, left ankle. So it sort of became a game because, well, it was my office, and I could have whatever games I wanted, and it was sort of fun. So I played with that, and as I would pull and stretch my hands further away, I would start to see their muscles pull larger and twist at their eyebrows and their lips, and their eyes would flutter uncontrollably, and their fingers would move. And when they opened their eyes, they started telling me that they were seeing colors that they had simply never seen before. They were smelling flowers they hadn't smelled. They were seeing people in the room with them that, although physically it didn't make sense that they could be there, they knew that they were there. They were not awake. They were not asleep. They were someplace more real with their words. Then people started getting up and walking who had come in wheelchairs. I started getting calls from the patients of some of my children with cerebral palsy or epilepsy, that suddenly they were able to walk again and run again and play and laugh and talk and not have seizures and not need their medications. Did it happen with every single patient of mine? No, but it happened with a lot, a huge lot of people. And we began to realize that something truly significant was going on. So I started getting phone calls from their doctors and other people saying, what did you do? And I said, I didn't do anything, and don't tell anyone. Of course, the more I said that, the more everyone started talking. And then people started asking me to teach this. And I said, you have got to be insane. How do you teach something like that? The truth is, I'm standing